think y'all ready for this truth right here. Whole lot of conversation being had about prime time. Whole lot of conversation being had about Coach Deion Sanders. Whole lot of people don't like what the decision that he made. But I got one question for you. When was the last time you stopped looking here, there, and everywhere else and you start realizing the leader that you are? We keep looking at every celebrity. We keep looking at everybody else to become the superhero. When was the last time you stopped sleeping on you? When was the last time you went to the PTA meeting? When was the last time that you actually cast your ballot? When was the last time you became part of the change that you want to see? When was the last time that you stopped calling youth super predators and whatnot? When was the last time that you pulled a young man to the side or you pulled a young lady to the side and you decided to impart some wisdom into them? When was the last time that you lend a mother, a father, a helping hand instead of saying that they've been raising monsters? When was the last time that you became part of the change that is needed in the community? When was the last time you stopped sleeping on you? When was the last time you stopped procrastinating? Talk to him, Mr. Uncut. I don't think y'all ready for this truth. Guess what? It's time for you to stop sitting on the sidelines and get active and get engaged. It's time for you to stop being full of excuses. It's time for you to step up to the plate. Listen, accountability is for all. Not just celebrities, not just politicians, but accountability is for you. Quit sleeping on yourself. You heard it here from your boy, Mr. Uncut. Yeah.
Stop the beat, 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 stop the beat.
Yours truly. We are live here. Your boy, Mr. Uncut. Happy Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen. Black History Month. You know, it's phenomenal. I love Black History Month because each time that I start getting more in depth with Black History Month, I start learning about new individuals. Not that I didn't hear them, but I began to start doing more study, more research. I saw one of the entities, I forget the gentleman that you actually posted onto your page, but he was one of the facilitators that did the research with the blood.
Oh, Dr. Charles Drew?
Yeah. And I actually happened to put a request in at the library to see if they have an autobiography, so I want to be able to know more.
Yeah.
Know more about the beloved. I think that's phenomenal.
Yep.
You know, we got to hear about these icons to understand where we're at.
Right.
You know,
and the contributions we've made to society.
You know.
Done a lot, man.
I think that's phenomenal. We have here. Y'all know I always gotta go with the mission of Uncut Live Productions. We got some updates, some fine, phenomenal work, some reports. Y'all see our beloved Angel here on the set, our honorary guest, Miss Tonya Sweat, one of the beloveds of Black history. You know, just doing it big. You know, being a public servant to the people, being a mentor and icon to the people, who has helped motivated me and helps keep me on track to not quit, to stay in the fight for change for the community. And y'all, excuse me, I'm just feeling a different inspirational, with this being Black History, Black History Month. We gotta keep. Oops, that just beat. Okay. Testing 1, 2. Okay. There we go. We gotta keep, and you can adjust the mic so
Gotcha.
block your face.
Look, I'm
like
hiding back here.
I want to say the mission of Uncut Live Productions so y'all can kind of get an understanding. It's not your first time. Y'all know the mission of Uncut Live Productions is where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith, social issues, politics, community, faith, inspiration, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. This is your empowerment platform for the people. Great work. Whatever you see here, hey, the car's lay how they lay, and it just doesn't get no realer than that. We will not be paused, edited, or muted. This is. I can't believe we have been in existence for over 5 years.
Awesome. Yay.
and you know, through the fine, phenomenal people who been guests, Fred Hill, people that have been very supportive of the platform. We've had some great shows here, great movers and shakers, people that are doing some phenomenal things in the community, and it just can't get no realer than that for me. But it's to you guys who share the broadcast, who say, hey, can you talk about this topic, or can you shine a light on this? And you know, we got calls that's still coming through. You know, just trying to get the voices of the people to the community. Shout out to Mr. Stephen Poe, who came on and shared with us his experience of what it was like navigating through the homeless system in Prince George's County. Kind of shed his light to really bring some of the mishaps of things that's being overlooked.
Right.
He shared his experience. You know, y'all can definitely go check that interview out. I think right now it's got about over 52 views right now. People have hit me up because this is an issue that's talked about. I want to give a quick update. So those can't really see, but far to my left, we have a crate that, if y'all been paying attention to the Life Hope Project for over, actually going on 4 years now, for over 4 years, we've been doing some phenomenal things within the community with the Life Hope Project. On a monthly, consistent basis, we have been able to be a blessing to our beloved brothers over at Addison Road. And the things that we have been able to do, we have given out over 100 Bibles. We have dispersed over 20 Qurans. We have given out over 500 meals, hot meals, provided toiletries, clothing. And this stuff, we have made sure that these items have gotten to the actual residents, because that's what it's about. We've got to get to a place where we remove self out of the picture and make sure that the needs of the people are being met. And so it's only through like-minded individuals like yourself that donate, right? We're doing this on a consistent basis. So we're not just here just doing a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo and talking. We're on the field. If you don't see us going live or anything, just know the work is going on. Shout out to Mikhail Enterprises, who have also got into the ring.
Nice.
And have actually volunteered her services as a small business owner of helping individuals get their resumes done.
Nice.
Career development. Mikhail Enterprises on St. Barnabas Road in Temple Hills, Maryland. I suggest you guys go check her out. A veteran that's trying to give to the community. And I have to say this without a shadow of a doubt, unequivocally, unapologetically speaking. A lot of the work that you see here. Even our beloved guests, honorary guest, pillar. I mean, this is an angel. Our veterans, I gotta say this. I got to say this. My hat goes off to the vets because the vets, they understand what it takes to get the job done. That's saying if you want the job done, find yourself a veteran. Mm-hmm. And I can't say that this is wholeheartedly true. These are individuals that are not just putting their resources on the line. Money, time, energy, and the vets are doing it. So my hat goes unequivocally, unapologetically to the veterans. And 80% of the work that y'all see done here on Uncut Live Productions comes from our vets, our veterans. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Mr. Todd Mullins, who has been a phenomenal, his brother's been a phenomenal bridge in the community. I mean, he's been over with the brothers over at Addison Road and just trying to figure out being a blessing. He's done some fine, phenomenal work. I mean, he just said, look, they gonna get KFC. And that's what he did. He had all the trimmings. I'm talking about string beans, mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken, biscuits, sakatumi cake. I mean, the brother just said, look, let's go. Don't worry about it. Put the order in. And that's what we did. That's just what he did.
Yeah, he's a good brother. Good brother.
Good soldier. Before we get into the real deal, Holyfield, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, I want to shout out Creating Safe Space. They partnered with Uncut Live, Life Hope Project, the We Take Care of Us movement. And we were able to help sponsor over 9 students within Prince George's County, Maryland public school system. Honor roll students. Nice. GPAs of 3.9. Shout out to Suitland High School. You know, I just had to put that out there. You know, because sometimes when you see chaos, you forget the good that is going on. Right. And you know how the narrative is of our young people, people. They keep saying our young people they doing this, that, and the third. But I keep trying to tell everybody, please be careful about mainstream media, because mainstream media wants you to see their vision, and that's what they're doing. They're telling their vision, mainstream media for you. I'm just saying. But shout out to Suitland High School. Shout out to all of the individuals that don't always get the recognition that they should. I know this to be true because when I was serving with a higher altitude organization Impact over at Benjamin Starter, I saw a lot of teachers really putting their work in, putting that sweat in, and making sacrifices to it, because they serve not just in their profession, but they really put their heart and soul into it, because they want to actually make a change. And because of that, they've been effective with making that change. And be careful about that mainstream media. I'm just saying, because all of our youth are not. I'm going to keep saying that.
Nope, they're not. We've got to take some time, pay very close attention to the ones who are at risk, who are getting in trouble. But our babies are good. They've got great potential. We've got to nurture it. We've got to feed it. We've got to help them mature and use their talents wisely. We've got great children in this county.
And unfortunately, you're right. Right now, the attention is, the eyes are on those who are causing trouble, who are getting into trouble. But we also know that they're good too. They've just gotten a little distracted.
Yeah, and I want to say this. On this platform, we've been discussing. I don't know why I feel like it's something else that I was supposed to say, but hopefully it'll come back to me. Just the recognition. I just want y'all to know that despite of what may be out there, there's still some good in the hood, as they say.
Not some. There's a lot of good in the hood.
There's a lot of good in the hood. Reminds me of that Ty Tribbett song. It's good in the hood. There's good in the hood. I want two particulars right now. You know, this goes back to one of your C's, community. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am very shocked. Oh, that's who it was. I wanted to shout out 1410. 1410. Shout out 1410, who is doing grassroots nonprofit grassroots advocacy, community advocacy for the homeless. 1410. For those, if you've been following the Newsbreak app, they've been posting. I want to say, when was that? Saturday, I believe. He posted what's happening, the trajectory of what's happening with the state of the homelessness population, and they was showing some of the work that they're doing in Prince George's County, and the trajectory and the transition of the homelessness that's taking place there. I was a little bit discouraged because I seen what happened over in McPherson Square. Shout out to King Kali, the Triangle Resource, and the BS movement, Breaking the Silence movement. I had a chance to talk to the brother. He was a little bit overtaken, as well as I was overtaken by what I had seen. And we're actually, what I saw was an individual that got arrested. He did get arrested. That was in McPherson Square. One of the things that troubles me is that, and I'll say it, the most unprotected person in America. I'm saying America. I know that there are homeless people in other countries, right? But we should be the model to help our very own as Americans. Homeless people don't have no, homeless people have no legislation, no policy on the table.
No advocates.
No,
very few advocates.
My brother, Mr. Stephen Poe, he said he thinks that's because there's no profit being made. Hence why there's no policy or legislation on the table. So with that being said, unfortunately, in the month of February, in the year of 2023, in spite of what we're seeing as a trajectory of individuals who are already in place, in position, it does get discouraging when you think about the homeless population. So we got a couple of things. We've been asking on the set each guest. The crate, that's what it was. So left side to me, there's a crate where individuals who don't give monetarily, they bring an actual item to the crate, because one of the things that has just happened within this month, and we've been seeing it in the news, we've been seeing it in the papers, is the emergency pandemic has ended. The congressional legislation has ended. So we've had individuals that would qualify. Let's just say, for example, before the pandemic, some individuals, I know this to be the case because individuals reached out to Uncut Live and the Life Hope Project, and we had individuals that were maybe getting like $40 in food stamps. And with the legislation that was created, gave individuals now the ability to receive $140 as opposed to just receiving $40. Right. Well, that mandate has ended. Yeah. So it has caused a triple effect because at the time when the legislation was created, there was an impact, but inflation wasn't as high as it is right now. Mm-hmm. So $40 is not necessarily going to cut it, even if you know, for a single individual. Mm-hmm. So what we have done at the Life Hope Project now, what we've done, again, we talk about the village and the community, right? Shout out to Martha's Table, because a couple and St. Joseph, St. Stephen's Food Pantry, because the pantries were actually holding it down, and some of the pantries was doing a whole wraparound support. So they would provide meat, dry goods, and things of such. So a couple of pantries reached out to me and said, we just can't, we've got to decide if we're just going to be able to just provide meats or if we're just going to be able to provide the dry goods. Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, and they just said, you know, so in the crate we have about over 6 bags of dry beans. So what we said we're going to try to do is we're going to try to meet that need somehow, some way. I just don't believe in the camp. My partner here told me it's our job to get to the yes. So, hey, we're going to get to the yes somehow, some way. I know I've been running my mouth. I just wanted to get those particulars. The title of this live is the beautiful voices of the beautiful struggle, the good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, the real deal, Holyfield. I know that's a whole lot to say in the month of Black History. We're going to talk about, and I hate people be thinking I be negative. I'm not trying to be negative, yo. I'm really a genuine person. Just
be honest.
You know, I'm not mean. I love my people. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to church for a second, okay? Y'all mind that. We've got to take care of the poor. When you don't take care of the poor, you are literally taking your hand and slapping God. Now I'm saying this because it's in the text. We're not, Prince George's County is they're not being taken care of. And y'all know how it is with me. Accountability is for everyone. It ain't necessarily me taking offense. It's all of us.
Mm-hmm. And first I'm gonna say, hey family. Sorry I've been gone so long, but I've been on the grind. And I'm seeing a lot of what you're saying about not taking care of the poor. But we got to be honest about a whole lot of things. As a Christian, Bible-believing person, I'll say this. One, Christ told us, he warned us, the poor would always be among us.
Sure did.
And with that, lately I asked myself questions, and I've challenged you on social media on a couple of things. Mm-hmm. Knowing that the poor will always be amongst us, and that doesn't necessarily mean financially poor.
That's it.
He's talking about all of it. Physically poor, spiritually poor, mentally poor.
Yep.
Some people have poor souls.
Yes.
And yep, we do have people who don't have it in the pocketbook. So financially they're poor. Do we enable that in what we do? Mm-hmm. Or how do we take care of it? Because some would say, if I keep giving you a hand out, I'm enabling you not to improve your own situation. I think about the African proverb, and we've talked about that on this show a number of times. If I give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If I teach him to fish, he'll eat every day.
Yeah.
So how do we effectively take care of the poor so that hopefully, prayerfully, they can get up and take care of themselves? Or is it that we want to be in this vicious cycle where we're constantly giving to the poor and we make it easy for them to stay poor? What are we doing? What do we want to do? How do we want to attack this problem?
And that goes back to what I said a few minutes ago, that, again, accountability, right, ladies and gentlemen, because there has to be a balance between the two. That's if y'all have heard me, y'all have always heard me say accountability is what? For everyone. So it's not necessarily, we're not just going to say this is a gray area, but this is a all hands.
Right.
This is a
and
all
it is,
hands.
and it is a gray area. It's not black or white. The homelessness in the county. We have different standards for different groups of people. Excuse me. If you're employed, you fell down on your luck, as people like to say. You might have lost your home to foreclosure for whatever reason, and you don't have a place to call home. Okay, you bring in a paycheck. We'll give you a place to stay. You can stay in this shelter or facility. There's no time limit, and we'll help you find a new home that you can afford. Then we have emergency shelters where, okay, this is temporary. We got to protect you or the child, and so you go here. We don't care about income or wages. We're just going to protect you because you're in danger. We got to provide a place of safety. And then we have the shelters where they try to put limits on folks. You got 90 days. You can stay for 3 months, but then you got to go. Well, okay, that I understand that. Space is limited, but what are we doing to help any of the persons or even families, because some of these are families. What are we doing to help them find their own shelter? And not just find it, but maintain it. Because you got to rent something, so you got to pay rent. You got to be able to buy something. I've yet to find a shelter that's free. Unless you're going to pop a tent somewhere. And as we see in D.C., McPherson Square, that ain't free either, nor is that permanent. Redevelopment's coming, you got to move. Okay?
And 1410
so
bought the issue. Unfortunately, y'all can go on the Newsbreak app and see it, 1410. And we have encampments in Prince George's County.
Yeah, we do.
And you'd be surprised. 1410 said DC's not a shop. And like he's one of the partners actually said that one of the statements he made, and I was like, wow, that's so true. He said, if the issue doesn't necessarily affect you personally, you would be shocked that this issue is prevalent. And he made the statement, say, we're only like 1 or 2 checks.
Most of us. You're right.
From
I mean, gotta be real with it, right? Gotta be real with it and deal with it. And that's true. Many of us are 1 to 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
The homeless state of affairs is not as cohesive. We have been talking about, y'all gonna see how this all ties in with everything. We've been talking about what does community, what does village, what does accountability look like to you? And this came about because a young man, he had asked, he said, where is the community that doesn't necessarily fit the societal norms? My man Wallow, y'all need to go check him out. I'm just saying, brother Sharp, talks about his experience about maximizing opportunities that come. He always talks about that. He was somebody that got into trouble, caught up in the penal system, and when he got out, he talked about how he wouldn't be where he's at today. He's a motivational speaker, an assistant for Google, and he said he would not have been in the position that he's in today if he did not maximize the potential, maximize the opportunities that was presented. I know people probably saw about three weeks ago, and I was like, everybody can't be chasing the bag, because what happens when there's no bag to chase? And we talked about money. And I said, what about chasing the bag of good character? What about chasing the bag of good health? What about chasing the bag of positivity? Because that's the thing that's being pushed out there. Chase the bag, right? Chase the bag, chase the money, right?
I'm gonna throw something else at you from my Bible. Proverbs says the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not the money, it's not the bag, but the love of it. So if you find yourself chasing the bag, and sometimes it's unintentional, find yourself getting wrapped up into some evil that brings on more trouble. What are you willing to do for money? It's a rap song back in the day, telling my age. What people do for money. I teach my children at home. You don't chase the money. If you do what you do for the love of what you do, if you do what you're passionate about, if you do what you're called to do, you're going to do it well. That's just the nature of things. You can't avoid that. And when you do what you do well, money will chase you.
So funny you said that. I was on a live yesterday. I believe it was the Stubb Show, and there was a gentleman. He made the statement. I'm like, oh, I need to use that. He said, "Chase information. Don't chase money. The information, the right information, will help lead you to money. But chase information."
Crazy as it sounds, I just do what I do.
I love that. I love that approach, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. It just goes back to, like I said. The young man made a valid point. He said, "What do you do?" He said, "Where's the community that just loves being a philanthropist? Where is the community for those that are just uniquely being them, those are just bakers?" He said, because you can be a baker and you're not necessarily trying to be turn your baking skill into a business. You just do it because you love the ability of fixing something that's good to reach the people. What do you do for the individuals that where's the community? Because he was like, there's a community that's set specific aside for each individual.
I'm on.
Come on.
I gotta break this thing down to the most human of levels. And then when you think about how mind-blowing stuff is, it leads me back to the statement that you can't tell me there isn't a God somewhere. Okay, when we talk about money, we always think about coins or green dollar bills. You got to understand that that's a fallacy. That's man-made. It was created by man.
Mm-hmm.
That paper, the ink that is on the dollar bill really has no value. It's paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's ink.
Mm-hmm.
It says $5, but it's really not worth $5.
Mm-hmm.
It's paper. It's ink.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why it has value is because man has built this economy that says if you got this paper, it's worth something. It means something. If you look at the original notes or bills, dollar bills, as we call them, they were seen as IOUs. And in the United States of America, the dollar bill had no value when it was first created unless it was guaranteed by gold bullion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the U.S. has gotten away from the gold bullion standard, and now it's the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. So if you believe the government's going to pay you, it's all on credit. When you get back to, I'll just say ancient times,
Mm-hmm.
it was all a barter and a trade.
Mm.
You've got a gift, I've got a gift. We exchange gifts so that we both have what we need. You have an ability, you have a talent that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for our community to work, in order for our family to succeed, everybody's got to bring their gift, their talent to the table and work together. And so we get what we need and we share it equally.
Yeah.
The introduction of this thing called money has changed the game.
Yeah.
It's changed the game.
And you know, it's you know, I could just hear the beloved Dr. King. Yeah, we in Black History Month. Because he said it. You shouldn't judge. We gotta talk about this, y'all. Because it's almost like and I get it, y'all. We need money to use as a currency in the earth. I get it. But how it is, we have allowed money, the stage of money, to become the dictatorship as to whether or not if we humanize individuals. Let's talk, y'all. Let's talk, y'all.
Again, we talk and let's go back. Every day this month, I've highlighted or spotlighted someone in Black history. And I alternate. One day is a male, the next day is a female. Yeah. I did that on purpose. Yes, that was intentional. I worked into my calendar some kings and pharaohs from ancient Egypt. I did that on purpose. One of them, King Musa, who some historians will credit as being the wealthiest man to ever live. His wealth was not built on money. His wealth was based on the resources in the Mali Empire. Some of those resources were slaves. Oops, let's tell the truth. Salt, incense. His wealth was based upon the minerals that he had control over because of where his empire was. Again, we're now talking about our current culture, our current environment, our current economy, which is not based upon resources necessarily anymore, because we see money as the resource. If I got a green dollar bill, then I can go buy all the incense, all the salt, all the I want. Some people think if I got money, I can buy people. And unfortunately for some people, that is true.
Unfortunately, that's the truth, y'all.
That's just, it is true. So we put now more, and I don't want to use this word, but it's the only word that comes to mind, faith in the almighty dollar.
Yep.
Whether it's the green dollar here in the U.S., whether it's the Kwan, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's the Canadian dollar or the Bahamian dollar, whether it's the European dollar, whether it's the Great Britain dollar that has the face of Queen Elizabeth and soon King Charles on it. Whatever you want to call your money, we put more faith in that, and those things, if it ain't made of silver or gold, natural resources, have no true value. If I put $1 here on this table and I set it afire, what happens to it? Poof! It's gone. If I set gold on fire, what happens to it? It melts. It may change form. The shape may adjust, but it's still gold. You burn gold, it's refined because you burn out the impurities, but the gold itself is left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. True silver, when you heat it, what happens to it? It's still there. Because those are natural minerals that are in limited source, limited amount on this earth. $1 bill, y'all? Really?
Yeah.
Really? Do you know how many dollars the federal government burns a year? You can go to the Federal Reserve and get bags of shredded money as a keepsake, and they give it to you for free. They do that because they take it out of circulation. That's how they control the value of $1 bill, by the amount you have in circulation. It's all a freaking fallacy created by man, and because we don't understand that, we're out here chasing this thing that hundreds, dear thousands of years ago was noted to be a possible root of evil when you fall in love with that thing. Yeah. So that's why I don't chase it. Yeah. I say learn your talent. Learn your gift. Each and every one of us are born with gifts instilled in us. And when you offer those gifts freely from a pure heart, someone will see the value in it, the benefit in it. It helps to build the community, and you will be paid for it. If I don't have a gift or a talent that equals what you're bringing to the table, what am I going to offer you? That $1 bill that really means nothing. However, because of this man-made economic system we've created called capitalism, you can then take that green dollar that I've given to you for your services, your talent, your calling, your commission, whatever it is, I'm going to give you that in exchange for your service, your talent, your gift to me, and then I'm going to take it to go buy a material thing that I want, or a material thing that I need, because when I walk into the store doesn't care that I can sing. The Store doesn't care that I might be able to teach or train its employees how to do better at their job. Store doesn't care that I'm going to bring in mental health counseling and help everybody be more content and at peace. Store doesn't care that I can take a piece of metal and build a cabinet in exchange for the food I may need. They just want that almighty green dollar bill. And I think if more of us understood the nature of our economy and the role that the money plays in it, it would then change our attitude about it and change how we operate as people. That then would make it less complicated to take care of the poor. Less complicated to take care of the poor. Because you could go to that person who you may see as poor and say, you have a gift in you that you can offer up. Because when I go to the shelter, I'm looking at the brothers. Mm-hmm. And I have not spent the amount of time in the women's shelter, in the family shelters that I spend in the men's shelter, because when I go into the men's shelter and I'm looking at my brothers and I look into their eyes and I see that they've lost hope. They've lost sight of what's in them that makes them men, created by my almighty God. Mm-hmm. They've lost sight of that. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the reasons why I challenged you in one of your posts. I'm glad that we're feeding them. Mm-hmm. They need that for their physical strength and stamina. But now we need to get other services to them, because I need them to start seeing who they really are, what was put in them by the Creator, and His command to them as men, that if they are obedient to it, will get them out of that situation.
And y'all know that when and I hadn't had a chance to update you a little bit on some of the different things that were transpiring since. I just been quiet because and it was intentional, specifically because I had to kind of get some resources, some other entities involved. Shout out to Mikhail Enterprises, because that is what she's doing. Also, I didn't even tell you this, but courtesy of Mikhail Enterprises, we also now have a contemporary mental health support service agency in there that is now, watch this, remember what I told y'all, same thing that I teach in ministry. This is what I've been teaching with other those that say that they want to be involved with outreach, because it's not about just saying, oh, I want to do this, but you got to understand what I like to call the metaphysics behind the entity, these three fibers. Your mental, right? Your mental, you need your mental. And mental doesn't always mean that it's something, some type of psychosis disposition.
Not illness always.
It's not necessarily an illness. But you think about mental, which is your spiritual development. That's why I said the three entities you need: mental, spiritual, and physical. And physical doesn't always necessarily mean the physicality of yourself. Physical could be the state of the temple spiritually. Not just necessarily your physical body, even though your physical body does play a major part, but you got to think about where you are physically, spiritually. Think about where you are physical, mentally, right? So three fibers: mental, spiritual, and physical. Physical is also that has to deal with your environment, your culture, your what are you intaking, right? What are you eating? What are you reading? What are you What are you hearing? What are you listening to? What are you seeing?
I'm right, and I'll tell you how I break it down. This is how I teach my children. We are made of three parts. We are a physical being. This house, this skin, this flesh, this skeleton, hair. That's your physical being. That's the part of you that was made from the dirt of the earth. From dirt you come, to dirt you shall return. Mm-hmm. Then we are a spiritual being. That is the part of us that was made in the image of God. Mm-hmm. Spirit. And we are soul. Our physical body houses our spirit and our soul. What is a soul? People go, what is my soul? Is it the same as my spirit? No, it's not. Your soul is your mind and your heart. Mm-hmm. It's your mental faculties and your emotional faculties. That's the soul. The spirit itself is more of your conscience. That voice within you that speaks, that is not always a thought. The spirit in you is that thing that will lead you. People like to call it a sixth sense. Mm-hmm. Intuition, my gut. Those are references that you hear people in layman's terms talk about when we talk about the spirit. I don't know why I did that. I just had a feeling. I just had a notion. Something within me. That's your spirit. Because the spirit...
Excuse us as we gear up for the next latter part of this show. We just wanted to shout out our proud sponsors, the Makayo Executive Services.